Welcome back to the Deep Dive, the show that, really cuts through the noise. We aim to give you those impactful insights, offering you a real shortcut to being truly well-informed.
Glad to be back.
Today, we're embarking on, well, a pretty fascinating journey, I think, right into the heart of personal growth and, crucially, effective learning.
Mm.
And we're drawing from a source we both really trust for profound wisdom and transformative guidance. I'm talking about the YouTube channel, Awaken Your Potential.
That's right. And Awaken Your Potential, it's really more than just a channel, isn't it? It feels like a dedicated compass for anyone trying to navigate their personal development journey.
Yeah, compass is a good word for it.
They consistently put out content that seems designed to guide viewers toward, genuine breakthroughs. They offer a real wealth of practical tools, truly inspiring discussions, and these great growth-oriented strategies.
Practical being the key word there, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, it's just an invaluable resource for self-discovery and for getting that consistent daily dose of motivation, really empowering you to unlock your inner potential and embrace meaningful, lasting change. They have this remarkable knack for delivering content that doesn't just tell you what to think,
Right.
but fundamentally how to transform your approach.
Absolutely. And the specific stuff we're diving into today, it comes directly from their latest video. It's titled Study 3x Faster, Stop Wasting Time, and Learn Smarter, Part 2.
Part 2 builds on the first one.
Exactly. So our mission with this deep dive is to pull out the absolute core nuggets from this incredibly powerful video. It moves, like you said, way beyond just what knowledge to acquire. It focuses intensely on how to actually build skills, how to make information stick, and, crucially, how to turn that knowledge into a practical tool you can actually use effectively every single day.
Which is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Usable knowledge.
Totally. So if you're listening and you feel like maybe you're often spinning your wheels with learning or you want to learn more efficiently, stop wasting precious time and fundamentally transform your relationship with information.
Which is a big one.
It really is. Then this deep dive is specifically tailored for you. Let's get into the mechanics of it.
Sounds good. And for those listening who've maybe been with us before or are familiar with the Awaken Your Potential series, you'll probably remember the core idea from the previous Study 3x Faster video, Part 1.
Right, the foundation.
Yeah, it laid out this, well, pretty revolutionary premise that effective learning is all about active engagement, not just passive consumption. It wasn't just a suggestion. It felt like a complete paradigm shift they were presenting.
Oh, I remember that point so vividly. It honestly reshaped my own thinking about how I learn things. They made it crystal clear, didn't they? That learning isn't about sitting back and just, passively highlighting your textbooks until they're glowing yellow or green.
We've all done it, though.
Oh, totally. Or just mindlessly rereading your notes over and over again. It feels productive, doesn't it? You're there with the material, your eyes are moving, maybe your hand is highlighting.
Feels like you're putting the time in.
Exactly. But how much is actually sticking? How much are you truly processing and internalizing? The video really hammered home that real learning, the kind that creates lasting understanding and, usable skills. It's about getting your hands dirty.
And that phrase, getting your hands dirty, it's so much more than just a catchy metaphor, isn't it? It implies this direct, almost physical, maybe even a bit messy interaction with the information.
Yeah, I like that. Messy.
They elaborated on this by explaining it means actively breaking information down into manageable chunks,
Yeah.
then processing those chunks and crucially summarizing them in your own words.
Without looking back. That's the hard part.
That's the key. Without peeking back at the original text. This isn't just some, clever study hack. It's presented as more of a profound neurological recalibration. Well, when you force your brain to rephrase, to condense, to articulate something in a new way, you're not just recognizing information on a page. You're fundamentally reconstructing it in your mind, building it yourself.
That's precisely the distinction, isn't it? If you're just rereading notes or flipping through textbook pages, that's passive. Your brain is basically in recognition mode. Oh, yeah, I've seen that before.
Comfortable but shallow.
Exactly. It's comfortable, but it's a shallow interaction. Think of it like this. Recognizing a friend in a crowd. Relatively easy. You see them, you know them. But actively recalling their phone number from memory when they're not right there.
Much harder. Takes effort.
That's a much harder mental workout. And that's the kind of deep retrieval we're talking about here. When you force yourself to explain a concept out loud, maybe to an empty chair.
Or the dog.
Yeah, or the dog. Or summarize it like you're teaching it to someone new. Or even just try to predict what comes next in a sequence. That's active learning. That's getting on the field, to use their powerful analogy.
Right, not just watching from the sidelines.
You're not just watching the game, you're actively playing it. You're in it.
And what's truly fascinating here is how Awaken Your Potential frames this whole thing. It's a fundamental shift in how your brain processes and stores information. It's about stopping being, as they put it, a spectator in your own education.
I love that phrase.
And genuinely getting on the field. And the metaphor they use for the brain is brilliant. Not a filing cabinet, where you just neatly store facts away.
Like little index cards.
Exactly. But as a living network, that image is so incredibly critical to understanding this whole concept. When you actively engage, when you chunk, summarize, question, interact, you're not just filing away isolated facts.
You're connecting things.
Precisely. You're building real, intricate, and robust connections between different pieces of knowledge.
It's like widening a small dirt path into a superhighway in your brain, right? Making the connection stronger, faster.
Exactly. You're strengthening those neural pathways. Neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself, form new connections throughout life. Active learning taps right into that.
So it's literally changing your brain structure.
In a way, yes. Each time you actively retrieve or reprocess information, those neural connections become stronger, more efficient. And this is the profound difference between knowledge that might just vanish after a test.
Cramming.
Yeah, because it was only superficially stored. And deep understanding that you can actually use, manipulate, apply in new situations. It's about true comprehension, versatile application, not just rote memorization that fades away.
It's knowledge that becomes part of your actual toolkit, something you can pull out whenever you need it.
That's the goal.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? I really want you to take a moment and reflect on your own past learning habits. Have you often found yourself being more of a spectator than a player?
Honest reflection time.
Yeah. Have you maybe spent hours rereading chapters multiple times only to realize later that you can't actually recall the main points when you really need them? Think about the real cost of that knowledge that just vanishes after a test.
Especially for things you need long-term. For your job or just understanding the world.
Exactly. Especially when you need it for long-term understanding, for solving complex problems at work, or for practical application in your daily life or career. It's a powerful question, isn't it? And one, the Awaken. Your potential video genuinely challenges you to consider. If your learning has often felt like trying to fill a leaky bucket,
A very common feeling.
then this deep dive and the strategies from the video are all about patching those leaks and building a much more effective system.
And if you haven't really started shifting towards active learning yet, honestly, now's the time. It's about taking that first step towards deeper engagement, moving beyond just consuming information to truly actively interacting with it.
Okay, so building on that crucial foundation of active learning, the video then introduces this absolutely brilliant central metaphor. Thinking of your entire ability to learn to acquire new skills, process information as an engine.
The learning engine.
Yeah, that powerful core mechanism that drives you forward in whatever you're trying to learn or do. And it's so relatable, isn't it? Because for so many of us, our learning engine might feel like it sometimes sputters, stalls, or loses momentum.
Totally. Runs out of gas.
Exactly. Maybe you sit down, you've got the best intentions to study or learn something new, and you just find yourself procrastinating, endlessly scrolling, or feeling completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information.
Or you learn something, and poof, it's gone the next day.
Right. Or maybe you feel like you grasp a concept in the moment, but then you forget it almost immediately after you step away. The video very wisely reassures you, if you feel this way, you are absolutely not alone. It's common.
That's comforting in itself.
It is. But the truly empowering message is that it is entirely possible to build a reliable, high-performance learning engine that works for you, not against you.
Exactly. And the video makes a really critical distinction here. It says, systematic practice is how you do it. It's about engineering a system that works for you, not against you.
Engineering a system, I like that. It's deliberate.
It is, and this is such a pivotal insight. We've all heard or maybe even given advice like, just study harder, or you just need more willpower.
The grit your teeth approach.
Right, but willpower, as we know, it's finite. It's an incredibly unreliable resource for consistent long-term learning. It waxes and wanes.
Totally depends on the day, your mood, how much sleep you got.
Exactly. Systems, on the other hand, they remove the guesswork from learning. They create a structured, repeatable process, essentially, a kind of machine that runs itself.
So you don't have to rely on feeling motivated every single time.
Precisely. You're no longer relying on some sudden surge of motivation to get started. You're building a predefined pathway, a habit that your brain just follows, ideally automatically. This isn't some fantasy. It's what happens when you apply these proven principles consistently. It's about designing your learning environment and your approach so that the default action is progress, not, well, not getting stuck.
What's truly liberating about this perspective, I think, is how it completely reframes those perceived failures or struggles with learning. The video basically posits that you're not bad at learning, you just haven't built your engine yet.
That's a huge mental shift.
Isn't it? Think about the profound implications of that. It's not some innate flaw, not some fixed intelligence barrier you're stuck with. It's a skill, an ability, a system that you can actively develop and engineer.
Puts the control back in your hands.
Totally. And this isn't just about studying for exams. If you apply this concept, building a learning engine, a system, it can revolutionize practically every area of your life.
Absolutely. Think about professional development.
Right. Mastering new software, understanding complex industry trends, becoming a better leader.
Or learning a craft, like playing an instrument or painting.
Yeah, or even building life skills, like becoming a more empathetic communicator, or getting a handle on your finances, or just managing your time better. If your learning engine can be engineered,
Then the potential is huge.
then virtually any skill, any area of personal growth, feels truly within reach. It reframes the whole idea of potential.
This approach really puts you firmly in the driver's seat. You become the master mechanic of your own learning journey. You decide how to build it, refine it, maintain it, instead of feeling like you're at the mercy of, fleeting motivation or overwhelming external pressures.
Okay, so how do we start building this engine?
Well, the video offers two incredibly powerful, immediately actionable components to start building that engine right away. And they do a great job of simplifying some, frankly, complex cognitive science into practical, easy-to-implement steps.
Okay, let's unpack this first one. It sounds incredibly simple, but the video presents it as profoundly powerful. It's called the stopwatch method.
Yep, the stopwatch method.
This is positioned as a real game changer for accelerating your intake of new, maybe dense information, helping you process more effectively in less time. So here's how it works, step by step.
Okay.
You take whatever material you need to learn, could be a textbook chapter, a research paper, complex notes, maybe a coding tutorial, anything. And you set a timer for precisely 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5. And during those 5 minutes, your sole absolute focus is to read with intense concentration. No distractions allowed. That means no checking your phone, no glancing at other tabs, no background noise if you can manage it. Just pure, unadulterated reading focus.
Laser focus for 5 minutes.
Then when that 5-minute timer goes off, you immediately set another timer, this time for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
And for those 2 minutes, your critical task is to write down the main ideas of what you just read in your own words. And here's the kicker.
No peeking.
No peeking back at the original text. This is pure, unadulterated active recall. You're forcing your brain to retrieve and synthesize that information from scratch.
Pulling it out, not just recognizing it.
Exactly. Then you repeat the cycle. 5 minutes intense reading, 2 minutes active summarizing, maybe 3 or 4 times in a row. It's like high-intensity interval training, but for your brain.
AIT for learning. I like it.
Yeah, designed for maximum absorption and retention. You can almost picture yourself doing it. That initial intense focus, then that quick scramble to pull those key ideas from your memory, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
And that discomfort is actually where the learning happens.
Right.
What's truly fascinating here, and what the video explains really well, is how the stopwatch method cleverly leverages several core psychological principles. It makes learning not just faster, but genuinely more efficient and effective.
Okay, like what principles?
Well, first, it powerfully beats procrastination. Why? Because 5 minutes. It feels incredibly easy to start, doesn't it?
Yeah, anyone can commit to 5 minutes.
Exactly. That low barrier to entry completely overcomes what psychologists call activation energy, that mental hurdle we all face when starting something new or daunting. You tell yourself, it's just 5 minutes, and boom, suddenly you're engaged before your brain can even put up much resistance.
Sneaky. I like it.
Very sneaky. Second, the ticking clock creates this palpable sense of urgency. It really intensifies your focus.
Right, like a mini deadline.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Knowing you only have that short, defined window pushes your brain into a state of focused attention, which is, a limited cognitive resource. But when it's fully engaged like that, it allows for much faster absorption and deeper initial comprehension. It cuts out the mental wandering, the
So
daydream.
stay on task.
Yeah. And third, the video highlights how it intrinsically turns reading into a kind of game. Makes it less of a chore, much more engaging.
How so?
Well, can you beat the clock? Can you pull out all the key ideas before the 2 minutes are up? This element of gamification, this sort of internal challenge, it makes learning feel more enjoyable, more self-motivating.
Instead of just drudgery.
Exactly. Less like homework, more like a personal best challenge.
And crucially, that 2-minute active recall phase. That's where the long-term memory magic truly happens, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
As we touched on earlier, it forces your brain to retrieve information from scratch. There's a universe of difference between recognition, where you might glance at a word or concept and think, oh yeah, I know that.
False confidence sometimes.
Often false confidence. And true recall, where you have to pull it from the depths of your memory without any prompts. Recall demands a much more rigorous mental workout.
Like lifting a heavier weight.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
And it significantly strengthens those neural pathways, leading to far better long-term memory and much deeper comprehension. You're not just recognizing the information, you are fundamentally owning it, making it an integrated part of your knowledge network.
It's the difference between seeing a path and actually building it yourself, brick by brick.
Perfectly put. So if you consistently apply this method, the claim is you'll find yourself getting through material not just faster, but more importantly, you'll actually remember it. It builds both speed and comprehension at the same time.
It sounds like a really indispensable component for that high-performance learning engine we're talking about.
It really is. I genuinely challenge anyone listening. Try it today, even if it's just one 5-minute cycle. Pick an article you need to read, maybe a chapter, set the timer, and just see how quickly your learning can accelerate. The stopwatch method could be your new secret weapon for information intake.
Okay, so fast and efficient information intake, thanks to the stopwatch method, that's one incredibly important part of building your learning engine. But avoiding frustration and maintaining consistent momentum, that's another equally critical piece of the puzzle, isn't it?
Absolutely. Speed is great, but if you burn out or give up, it doesn't matter.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, because the video from Awaken Your Potential addresses one of the most common, frankly, soul-crushing pitfalls we all face. Getting overwhelmed and then inevitably quitting.
The overwhelmed quit cycle. Vicious.
Totally vicious. So many people, when they try to learn something new, could be a skill, a language, a complex subject for work, they just jump into the deep end right from the start.
Go big or go home, right. But often just go home.
Exactly. They try to tackle something that's way too difficult, too vast, or too complex for their current level, and what happens? They get frustrated almost immediately. That initial spark of motivation just fizzles out.
Poof, gone.
And then they just quit, often before they've truly even begun. It's such a common cycle, isn't it? You get this initial burst of motivation, you pick some huge, daunting, overwhelming task, you inevitably stumble or feel completely lost.
And that feeling of failure just kills the motivation.
Completely. It derails your motivation, often leading to that feeling of, I'm just not good at this.
Which is usually not true. It's the approach that's wrong.
Precisely. So if we connect this back to the bigger picture, building that learning engine, the video offers a profoundly elegant and effective solution to this common problem, and it's called progressive difficulty.
Progressive difficulty.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The secret, they explain, is not to avoid challenge altogether, but to start with what you can do, then increase the challenge step by step. It's beautifully simple in concept, but incredibly addictive in practice because it aligns perfectly with how our brains naturally learn best.
Incremental steps.
Exactly. Think of it like climbing a ladder one rung at a time. You don't try to leap from the ground straight to the 10th rung. That's how you fall. You master each small, achievable step before confidently moving to the next.
Makes sense. So how do you apply it?
It means deliberately breaking down any skill or body of knowledge into its smallest, most manageable. They even call them unfailable components, and mastering them one by one.
Unfailable. I like that. Takes the pressure off immediately.
Doesn't it? They give a fantastic and really relatable example in the video using public speaking.
Oh yeah, that's a classic fear.
Totally. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to give a keynote speech in front of 1,000 people next week, which would be terrifying for most.
Well, yeah.
You start with something incredibly small and non-threatening. First, maybe you just record yourself speaking for 1 minute on a simple topic, just you and your phone.
Okay, doable.
You review it, maybe refine it a bit. Once that feels comfortable, then you progress. Maybe then you record yourself for 2 minutes.
Still manageable.
After that, perhaps you try speaking in front of just one trusted friend or a supportive family member, maybe for 5 minutes. Each step gradually builds on the last, systematically increasing the challenge only when you found comfort and competence at the previous level.
Building confidence along with the skill.
Exactly. Or another practical example. Maybe you're learning new software or a complex programming language. Instead of trying to build an entire feature-rich application on day one.
Which is totally overwhelming.
Right. You start by mastering one button before tackling a whole project. Maybe you just learn how to use the save function reliably, then the open function, then how to change a font or define one simple variable. Small, incremental wins, each one building a foundational layer of skill and, just importantly, confidence.
And this approach is so immensely powerful because of what psychologists sometimes call the dopamine effect, right?
Explain that.
Well, when you achieve a small win, even something as simple as successfully recording yourself for that 1 minute, your brain releases dopamine.
The feel-good chemical.
Exactly. Dopamine is a crucial neurotransmitter that signals reward and pleasure in the brain. And its release quite literally fuels motivation and confidence.
Yeah.
You're creating this positive feedback loop where success breeds more success.
So each tiny win makes you want to take the next step.
Precisely. Each small victory makes you feel capable, accomplished, and genuinely eager to take the very next step. This isn't about being slow. The video stresses it's incredibly strategic.
Strategic, not slow.
Right. By building a solid foundation with these smaller, manageable steps, you effectively prevent that future overwhelm. You sustain your motivation, and you ensure deep learning because you truly understand and integrate each component before moving to something more complex.
It prevents building on shaky ground.
Exactly. And the video really hammers home the importance of asking yourself this crucial question. What's the absolute easiest first step? Make it so easy you can't fail.
Make it unfailable.
That mindset completely shifts a daunting, seemingly impossible task into an immediately achievable one. It fundamentally transforms your entire approach to skill acquisition, from one of dread to one of possibility.
So for you, the listener, I want you to think about a skill or an area of learning you've struggled with in the past. Maybe it's learning a new language where you just got bogged down by complex grammar rules.
Or starting a new fitness routine that felt way too intense right away.
Yeah, or mastering a complex concept for work that just seemed too abstract, too overwhelming. How could breaking that daunting task down into these tiny, unfailable steps change your entire approach?
Imagine the shift.
Imagine the shift from dread and frustration to, genuine excitement and momentum as you start racking up those small, consistent wins. This is how you build durable, resilient skills that truly stick.
And the key warning from the Awaken Your Potential video.
Don't skip steps.
Exactly. Don't skip steps.
Yeah.
That's where most people stumble and lose momentum. Build your ladder carefully, one rung at a time. That's how you build true, lasting mastery.
Okay, so we've covered accelerating your information intake with the stopwatch method.
Check.
And we've explored how to manage challenge and avoid overwhelm with progressive difficulty.
Good.
These are absolutely incredible tools, right? Powerful strategies. But the video then hits on this critical, often overlooked point that truly resonated with me because it's the common stumbling block for so many of us, myself included sometimes.
What's that?
These techniques, no matter how brilliant they are ultimately useless if you don't use them consistently.
The consistency problem, the Achilles heel.
Totally. This is the core problem. You get excited, maybe you listen to this deep dive, you watch the video, you try a new method for a day or two, you even see some initial progress. But then, life happens.
Yep. The unexpected meeting, the kids get sick, you're tired.
Exactly. Distractions creep in, motivation naturally wanes, and before you know it, that learning engine you were starting to build just stalls, falls by the wayside.
It's such a familiar pattern for almost everyone, isn't it? We all experience that initial burst of enthusiasm when we discover a new, promising strategy. But sustaining it, integrating it into our already busy lives, that's a whole different ballgame.
So why is consistency so hard to maintain?
Well, it often boils down to relying too heavily on willpower and that fleeting motivation, which, as we keep saying, are unreliable resources. They just don't last. So the video poses the critical question. This raises an important question. How do we make practice not just something we do, but something we are? How do we make it a habit?
Making it automatic.
Exactly. The video provides the real, profound secret to sustain progress. Building a habit of practice is your secret weapon. The ultimate goal, they explain, is to make learning automatic, like brushing your teeth. You don't debate brushing your teeth, you just do it.
Right, it's ingrained.
And they provide a clear, actionable blueprint for achieving this, using the scientifically proven habit loop cue routine reward.
The habit loop. Okay, break that down for us based on the video.
Sure. So first, the cue. This is your trigger. It's a specific signal that tells your brain, okay, it's time for this particular action. The key is to pick something you already do daily, something deeply ingrained and automatic in your existing routine.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, like after my morning coffee, or when I put on my running shoes, or maybe as soon as I open my laptop for work. That's your unmistakable signal. The moment you finish that coffee, your brain gets the psychological green light for the next step.
Okay, so you anchor the new habit to an existing one.
Precisely. Second, the routine. This is the learning task itself. And the key here is it needs to be small and clearly defined, especially at the start. So linked directly to that cue, you would say, do one 5-minute stopwatch cycle, or complete one unfailable step of progressive difficulty. It's a very precise, manageable action that slots directly into your existing day, not some huge, vague goal.
Small and specific. Got it. And the third part.
The reward. This is absolutely crucial. It's something small, immediate, and satisfying that closes the loop. It signals to your brain, hey, that routine was worthwhile.
What kind of reward works?
It could be incredibly simple. Checking a box on a habit tracker and seeing your streak grow. Allowing yourself a quick, guilt-free treat. Maybe a piece of chocolate, or 5 minutes of social media. Listening to one favorite song. Or even just consciously acknowledging the feeling of accomplishment. Yes, I did it. This reward helps solidify the habit in your brain, making it something you actually look forward to, something your brain begins to crave over time. It's the mechanism that turns conscious effort into comfortable automatism.
So you're essentially training your brain like you'd train a puppy, with cues and rewards.
Huh? In a way, yes. The profound beauty of this system, as the video emphasizes, is that consistency comes from systems, not motivation. When you meticulously establish a habit loop like this, you significantly reduce your reliance on that fluctuating willpower.
Takes the daily decision-making out of it.
Exactly. Now, first, yes, it takes conscious effort. There's a bit of mental friction you have to push through to establish that new routine. But as the video explains, very soon, often within just a few weeks, it starts to become automatic. Your brain actually starts to crave the reward associated with the habit, and eventually, the learning itself can become intrinsically rewarding.
So the engine starts running on its own fuel.
That's the goal. Powered by your ingrained routine, not by a constant struggle for motivation. This is where real, durable transformation happens. They emphasize the simple, yet incredibly profound importance of just showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it.
Even for just a few minutes.
Especially then. That consistent, even imperfect showing up, regardless of your mood or motivation level, that is truly the winning strategy. It builds compounding momentum, one small, consistent action at a time.
So for you, the listener, take a moment right now. Think about your daily routine. What's a clear, consistent cue you could identify that happens pretty much without fail every day? Maybe it's right after you brush your teeth in the morning, or right before you check social media in the evening. Or as soon as you sit down at your desk with that first cup of coffee.
On that anchor point.
Find that anchor point. Now imagine how you could integrate just a 5 or 10-minute learning task into that existing routine, tying it directly to your chosen cue. And then, crucially, giving yourself a small, immediate reward right after. This is the blueprint. This is how you start procrastinating, how you overcome inertia, and how you start building a learning habit that not only sticks, but actually thrives over time. It's about making learning a seamless, automatic part of your day, not some dreaded chore you have to force yourself to do.
It's about engineering success.
Okay, we've covered some incredibly powerful tools here, some real game changers for your learning journey, all thanks to this Awaken Your Potential video. But, as the video emphatically states near the end, enough talk, let's act.
Time for action.
Exactly. The video wraps up with this really inspiring, actionable call to action. They propose a 5-day challenge.
Just 5 days.
Just 5 days. And this isn't about achieving massive grand gestures or reaching mastery in a week. That's not the point. It's about initiating concrete change. It's about building that initial momentum and, maybe most importantly, proving to yourself that you can take control of your learning process.
That's a very practical challenge, isn't it? Designed to be small enough to almost guarantee success, build that immediate confidence.
Totally. So here are the steps, exactly as they lay them out in the video. First, pick one skill or area you want to improve. Just one. Don't overthink it. Don't try to tackle everything at once. Choose something that feels relevant and maybe even a little exciting to you right now.
Keep simple.
Second, pick one technique, either the stopwatch method or progressive difficulty. Again, focus. You don't need to implement both simultaneously for this initial challenge. Just focus on mastering one of these approaches for 5 days.
Okay, one skill, one technique. What next?
Then, depending on your choice, if you picked the stopwatch method, your commitment is to do 2 cycles. That's 5 minutes reading, 2 minutes summarizing, twice daily for 5 consecutive days.
So what, 14 minutes a day?
Exactly, just 14 minutes a day. Incredibly manageable. The key is you schedule it. You tie it to that cue you identified earlier, and you make it non-negotiable for those 5 days. Treat it like an important appointment.
And if you chose progressive difficulty?
If you chose progressive difficulty, your task for day 1 is to identify the smallest, easiest first step for your chosen skill, that truly unfailable step. Then you focus on mastering that step. On day 2, you move to the very next, slightly more challenging step. You keep doing that, mastering one small step each day for 5 days.
Building momentum step by step.
Precisely. And the genius here, as the video points out, is that the primary goal isn't really massive progress on the skill itself in those 5 days, though some progress will likely happen. The real goal is fundamentally about building the habit of showing up.
Getting the engine started.
Yes. It's about creating a chain of small wins, proving to yourself day after day after day that you can consistently take action towards your learning goals.
So the challenge is really about consistency, not immediate mastery.
Exactly. So the question to you, listening now, is, are you in? This is your moment. Your moment to stop just passively consuming information, to start merely thinking about learning, and to truly become an active builder of your own skills. It's about taking these incredibly practical concepts from the Awaken Your Potential video and putting them into practice immediately, like right now. Prove to yourself that you can do it. Start today. Even if starting just means picking your first unfailable step or setting that very first 5-minute timer. The power of compounding small actions begins the moment you decide to act.
And here's a really crucial layer that the video wisely adds, something that can be a powerful amplifier for your efforts, especially when starting out.
What's that?
You're not doing this alone. Accountability and community make habits stick, especially new ones.
Ah, the social aspect.
Exactly. They strongly encourage you to share your challenge experience with the broader Awaken Your Potential community, or even just with friends or colleagues who might be on a similar journey. The idea is, let's create momentum together and lift each other up.
How do they suggest doing that?
Well, after a day or two of the challenge, they suggest posting about how it's going for you, maybe on social media, maybe in the video comments. They even suggest using the hashtag #MyLearningEngine so everyone can connect, see each other's journeys, and offer support.
#MyLearningEngine. Okay.
Tell people what skill you're working on, which technique you picked, how did it feel, what insights did you gain. Share your wins, definitely, but also share your struggles. Because, as they say, honesty builds connection, and it helps others realize they're not alone if they find it challenging too. Your story, your little update, could be the precise spark that inspires someone else to finally start their own learning engine.
That's a great point. It's not about presenting some perfect image.
Not at all. This isn't about comparison or competition. It's about genuine encouragement and shared growth. They suggest reading others' posts too, and leaving a supportive comment. Because when you encourage others, when you offer a word of understanding or maybe a helpful tip, you actually reinforce your own commitment and belief in the process.
It makes you feel part of something bigger.
Exactly. It's this beautiful, positive feedback loop that transcends just individual effort. It's truly about building more than learning engines. We're building a community that supports each other through the inevitable shared challenges and hopefully lots of celebrations. We rise together, becoming more capable versions of ourselves.
Okay, so 5 days from now, the official challenge ends. But your learning journey absolutely doesn't. The video really emphasizes this crucial long-term vision.
It's just the starting line.
Exactly. The goal isn't mastery in a week or some kind of overnight success. It's about building a system, a robust personal system for continuous growth and learning. This 5-day challenge is simply about proving to yourself that you can take control, that you can consistently apply these powerful strategies.
Laying the foundation.
It's about understanding that this commitment to smart, active practice is meant to be a lifestyle, not just a quick fix or a temporary burst of effort that fades away.
And they really encourage you to think long term. Actively think about who you want to be a year from now, or even 5 years from now.
Yeah, future you.
Yeah, the future you, that more capable, more knowledgeable, more skilled version of yourself is built one habit, one consistent practice session at a time. Consider the truly astounding compounding effect they mention. Just 15 minutes of focused, smart practice a day.
Which sounds tiny.
Sounds tiny, right? But it adds up to over 90 hours of dedicated learning time in a year.
90 hours.
That's the equivalent of more than 2 full work weeks of focused effort, built entirely on small, consistent, daily actions. That's a profound transformation built on seemingly insignificant daily choices.
That really puts it in perspective.
And they're also remarkably realistic about the journey. They explicitly say, you'll miss days. That's okay. Just don't miss 2 in a row.
The never miss twice rule.
Exactly. This is such a critical piece of advice for habit formation. Falling off the wagon happens. The key isn't never falling off, it's getting back on quickly. Consistency, not perfection, is the goal.
So forgive yourself for the stumble.
Absolutely. Forgiving yourself for a missed day, acknowledging it without beating yourself up, and then immediately getting back on track the very next day, that actually reinforces the habit loop rather than breaking it. It teaches your brain resilience. It says, okay, one slip up doesn't derail the whole process.
The Awaken Your Potential video truly empowers you by the end, doesn't it? Reminding you that you have the tools, the blueprint, and a community. No more excuses.
Puts the ball firmly in your court.
Totally. They even circle back to the 5-second rule, Mel Robbins' concept as a powerful, immediate tool for overcoming that initial inertia. When you feel resistance, that urge to procrastinate, just count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And on 0, just start.
Don't think. Just move.
Don't overthink it, just begin. Make a physical movement towards the task. You are the driver of your life, the engineer of your learning engine. Take the wheel, make that crucial 5-second decision when needed, and just keep moving forward. Your future self is waiting, and they're depending on the small, consistent, strategic actions you choose to take today.
Which leads beautifully into that final provocative thought they leave you with.
Yeah, something for you listening to really mull over long after this deep dive ends. How would consistent strategic learning for just 15 minutes a day fundamentally alter the trajectory of your personal and professional development over the next decade?
Really think about that.
Oh.
10 years of consistent, focused growth.
Imagine the exponential growth, the opportunities that could open up, the confident, capable person you could become. It's powerful stuff.
It really is.
What you've started, honestly, by even considering and maybe starting to apply these ideas from the video, it's truly incredible. Smart, consistent practice isn't just about gaining more information. It's fundamentally changing your relationship with learning itself.
Shifting from passive consumer to active builder.
Exactly. You're not just acquiring facts anymore. You're actively building an engine that will serve you for life, adapting to new challenges and opportunities as they arise. Every small session, every 5-minute burst with the stopwatch, every tiny, unfailable step you take. It's a powerful vote for a more capable, more confident you. Celebrate that effort. Celebrate that commitment.
Absolutely. And the stopwatch method, progressive difficulty. These aren't just quick hacks. They are genuinely effective and crucially sustainable tools. They're designed for the long haul, designed to integrate seamlessly into your actual life. But of course, the journey of deep learning doesn't stop there, does it?
No, there's always more.
The Awaken Your Potential video definitely hints at what's coming next in their series. They pose that critical question, but how do you make knowledge stick for the long term? How do you ensure it truly becomes part of your permanent understanding?
Retention. The other side of the coin.
Exactly. So next time, they're promised to dive into the fascinating science of memory and retention. Things like more advanced active recall strategies, the incredible power of spaced repetition, maybe even more sophisticated techniques like interleaving or elaboration.
Okay, that sounds fascinating.
Imagine combining the consistent, smart practice we've talked about today with these powerful memory-enhancing strategies. As they put it, it truly will unlock a learning superpower. making you a much more formidable force in whatever field you're pursuing.
So how can people get access to all this?
Well, first and foremost,
To experience all of this wisdom firsthand, to gain even more powerful insights, and importantly, to join this amazing community of learners and growth seekers that's forming, we wholeheartedly encourage you, go visit the Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel.
seriously, check it out.
It's an absolute treasure trove of content, not just on learning, but on personal growth, mindfulness, building resilience, all aspects of personal development. Seriously, go explore it, subscribe, and just immerse yourself in that rich content.
And definitely watch the video we've been discussing.
Yes, specifically to get the full impact of everything we discussed today and to really reinforce these concepts in your mind, make sure you watch the full video. Study 3x, Faster Stop Wasting Time, and Learn Smarter, Part 2.
Watch it. Maybe try the techniques as you watch.
Good idea. And comment on the video. Share your journey. Use that hashtag #MyLearningEngine hashtag. Connect with others right there in the comments section.
Build that community connection.
Don't miss the next episode in this incredible learning series they're doing, and be sure to check out all the other transformative content that's already available on Awaken Your Potential. Hit that subscribe button on their channel. Stay connected for continued growth. You've absolutely got this, and we're here cheering you on.